Boredom and gambling. Do we gamble because we're bored? And what that really does to our brains. Are we that addicted to action that nothing else excites us in life? I say yes. I'm going through that right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going through that right now. I'm experiencing some of that. Same thing can be said about this. I tried to quit. I'm not saying I'm never going to quit, but I experienced that same lack of, I guess, something to do in between activities. Smoking cigarettes is bad for me. I know that. Do I enjoy smoking? I do. Do I know the effects of smoking? Yeah. I know it's bad for me. I know it's bad for my health. Well, why do we keep doing it? Because we're addicted. Same thing with gambling. We're addicted. We're addicted to the highs. We're addicted to the action, the location, the sounds, the machines, the people. It's an activity. Especially when, well, I'm not a retiree, but I can just imagine like retirees, people that are retired in their golden years and they struggle with boredom. I hear countless stories about other people telling me that, hey, they gamble because they're bored. It gives them something to do. I was watching a YouTube video just the other day, some professor talking about how boredom is actually good for you. It resets your brain. It kind of heals the spikes, the temptation of those spikes, because we're used to that adrenaline. We're used to that, satisfaction right away. We want to experience that high. And if we don't have those dopamine hits, if we don't have that excitement in our lives, we're bored, we're depressed, we can't function in life. Same thing with coffee. I'm so used to my Starbucks every day, sometimes 2 cups. And yeah, I drink the big ones, black, straight up. That when I don't have my coffee, I feel like, I don't know, something's wrong with me. And that's just, my body's used to it, Gambling. I'm experiencing that boredom as we speak. Not gambling as much, actually at all. It's going on the 2nd week now, minus that free play. I don't even count that. It wasn't even fun, or didn't last too long. I was there for a few minutes playing $5 a spin, playing my free play, $200. You saw how long it was. It was a joke. I wanted to play. Yeah, I shaved. Don't laugh. I felt like, too much white going on here. Makes me look like a grandpa. So, but anyway, I got that razor and I shaved everything off. Out of boredom. Gave me something to do, outside my work. Because normally I'd be at a casino right now. Normally I'd be gambling. Normally I would be traveling to a casino. It is extremely difficult. Guys, it is the hardest thing in the world to figure out what to do other than gamble if you're a gambler. Ladies and gentlemen, if the casinos were a little giving, we eat. Same thing with eating. We eat out because we're bored. How many of you guys go and eating gets you excited? It gives you something to look forward to. Going out to eat. I love junk food, but I know it's bad for me. But I enjoy it. I enjoy, that cheeseburger or that In-N-Out or Taco Bell, KFC. It's bad for me. The French fries, the chili cheese fries. the burritos at the taco stands, like all that stuff. I know I'd feel better if I didn't consume it, but right now I'm experiencing a lot of that in my downtime. I'm experiencing that. What do I do? How do I, okay, I do other things, sure, I say I'm going to do other things, but I can't keep my mind off of those orbs, those jackpots, those slot machines, even slot channels. I'm tempted to go watch them because my brain is so fixated on that action that I can't keep away from it. Nothing else excites us. There's a time and place for everything, right? There's a time and place for activities with your family, going out with your family, traveling. But then when we come back to the gambling. We always think about gambling. We always think about the slots. Why is that? Why is that? Not necessarily because, I know we hardly ever win anymore, and that sucks. But we still want to do it. And I'm experiencing a lot of that, right now, my downtime. How many cigarettes can I smoke? How many coffees can I have? How much can I go out to eat? How many times can I watch a movie? Or luckily I have some other activities I can do, which is making videos, making content, talking about this stuff. But this is real. This is what a lot of people experience, and it's really, really hard to kick. Do I think about casinos? Sure. Do I think about those orbs? Do I think about hitting majors and hand pays and getting ahead of this thing and how it makes me feel? Sure, it makes me feel really good to hit those jackpots. I know that it's temporary, it's a temporary fix, but our brains are so wired that we need that high, we need that attention, we need that action in our brains because we don't want to experience boredom. We keep our minds busy with work, we keep our minds busy with other hobbies, but again, we still come back to that addiction. We're only human, and it's hard. It's hard, ladies and gentlemen. So what that professor was saying about boredom, he said, we don't experience boredom enough. Boredom is healthy, he said in that YouTube video. Boredom heals your brain. It lessens that need for those dopamine spikes. When we consume shorts, when we consume all those videos that give us, instant gratification, TikToks, and, when you scroll, you ever just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and it's just so interesting, and it just spikes your brain, and it just makes you feel like you're satisfied watching this sensationalized content. That's why we suffer from this, because we're consumed 24/7 with this action. Everything we watch on the internet, all the action, all the highs. Why do you think slot videos that do well when you win jackpots? Because people want to see that. It's high action. The losing doesn't get clicks because it's not action. It sucks. It's negative. It's sad. It's complaining. It's cussing. But when you win, it's, yeah, give me a high five, It's same thing with like coffee. Coffee gives you a boost. Sorry, did I touch that mic? Coffee gives you that pick-me-up. Same thing with these dopamine spikes when we watch casino content, guys. The winning. We're so addicted. Our brains are so wired for that dopamine, that action. And boredom hits us like a ton of rocks. It sucks, guys. And right now, there's a lot of things I can do to keep my mind busy. There's a lot of things that I can do to be productive in my day. But then I can't keep away from that feeling of wanting to go and gamble. Boredom. A lot of people gamble because they're bored. A lot of people don't care about the losing as long as they're in the action. Losing gives them that dopamine hit too. If you're a trillionaire like Elon Musk, Elon Musk's the first trillionaire in the world. Trillionaire. Not billionaire with the B, trillionaire with the T. 1,000 billion. What? $1 billion is 1,000 million. 1,000 billion is a trillion. Man, can you imagine having? Why I bring him up? Because the guy has so much money. I mean, it's a lot of it is in stocks and stuff, and it's not liquid, but still, you know what I mean. Guy's rich. Can you imagine having the old like as much resource? You could just go gamble. You could just do anything you want. A lot of people are well off that they gamble. They gamble. They lose 5, 10, 15,000, but they have a lot of money. To them, they buying that action. They're buying the ticket to gambling. You know, without money, you can't go gamble. And I'm not one of those guys that goes to the casino and watches other people gamble. I can't do that. There's some people that go and just want to watch people lose their money. I'm not one of those guys. If I'm not playing, I don't want to watch you play. I tell my friend all the time. I tell him, dude, I don't want to watch you play anymore. It's boring for me. I want to play. So, yeah, I have to play because watching somebody else play doesn't do it for me. I have to play. And that play cost me money. That play cost me hundreds, thousands. I guess I guess what it all comes down to is pay to play, guys. We're paying for the action. We're paying even though we don't win it, even though we don't win anything ever, we still want to play. And there's people like that. They don't mind losing a lot of money because they're rich, they're business owners. I have a question for you guys. If you're watching this video and you're pretty well off, right? And if you got money and losing 5,000 a visit, and you like, I'm talking to those guys that go to the casinos maybe once a week, lose from $5,000 to $10,000 a week, and losing $30,000-$40,000 a month is no big deal for you guys. Those guys, if you guys are watching this video, let me know how you feel. Even though you're well off, even though you're rich, even though you have a lot of money to just spend on your gambling, you don't mind blowing the money. How does it make you feel losing that much money? Is it still sting? Does it hurt? Because only people that are in those shoes know exactly how they're. I'm not in those shoes. Losing 30,000-40,000 a month for me is no can do, guys. I can't sustain that level of losses. I'm not rich. I'm not, I don't have millions of dollars in the bank. Even if you did, even if you had millions of dollars, that money will run out losing $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month. We're talking what? That's like, what is that? 50,000. That's like $500,000 a year. Is there anybody watching this video right now that loses $500,000 a year gambling? Sure, you're gonna have the winning days, but you're not really gonna get, be set whole again with the wins. It's gonna give you some money back, but not all of it. You're gonna end up losing too. Majority of it is losing. How does that make you feel? Those people that are well off in the comments. Let me know. Let me know if you blow 20, 30, 40K a month gambling. Are you okay with it? Does it piss you off? How long can you sustain that? And that's why I bring slot channels up. Because slot channels, they're feeding that gambling itch, big gambling itches, by having the resources to do that. Because, hey, if you blow to 30, 40K, right? You got another 30, 40K coming next month from the sponsors. It's okay. That's why they do this. Those slot channels, how does that make you feel? How long does it take you to blow through sponsorship cash? How big are your sponsorship cashes? So guys like NG, they blow a lot of money. I mean, he has businesses, right? But his slot sessions are huge. I can't even imagine blowing that much money at a casino. I can't even imagine. How do these people do it? Guys like Vegas Matt, how do these people do it? They gamble so much, but yet their contracts are so big that it allows them to use that money, and it doesn't allow them to be bored. Like, I want to ask guys like Vegas Matt, if you don't gamble for a month, can you do it? Can you go and does it bore you not to gamble? Sitting in your mansion in Las Vegas, Matt, does it bore you when you sit there and you're not in front of the action? How addicted are you to the action? And being a guy that's always gambling, I think he's gambling 28 out of 30 days a month. How does it make you feel? Do you think you can start a new lifestyle without gambling? Because gambling is part of these people's lives. Gambling is part of my life. But I know it's destructive. So, is there a balance? What's the end goal here for gamblers? When we hit rock bottom, then what? How do we deal with the boredom that comes? Because our brains, our lifestyle is so used to that lifestyle that doing something else is not satisfactory enough anymore. I don't know. I'm going through that. I'll be honest, man. I'm no Superman. I'm going through that right now. How many of you guys are going through the same thing I am? Where you know you don't really want to go lose your money. It's not fun for you anymore because the casinos don't give anything back, hardly ever, without you digging in. They'll reward you if you dig in, guys. They want to see some play. They want to see some losses before they give those hand pays out. And it's all set up through the algorithm, and I believe that wholeheartedly. However, do we really want to do that? In the comments below, there's a few things that I want you guys to tell me. What kind of advice, what kind of tips can you leave me and other viewers here, watchers? What we can do to heal our brains, what we can do to kind of dial the wanting that high action in our brains down. How do we do it? There's a few things I can tell you. Keep yourself busy. That works. Start a diet, start a routine, start a new hobby. But again, does that really work? Because a gambler, have you ever heard the saying, a gambler is always a gambler? That's true to an extent, guys. I mean, you guys, I know I say guys a lot. You know, there's somebody commented saying, you say guys so many times. I know. Gotta work on that. Guys. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, what kind of advice can you give viewers here? What have you done that has worked? One thing that stops people from gambling is losing money, running out of money. You have no choice but to not gamble. Right? That works, but people are miserable, right? You're miserable not having money. First of all, you're miserable losing all that money that you had when you were gambling. Second of all, you have no money to gamble anymore. So that also brings on, a miserable time. That's one thing that people have no choice but to stop gambling because they ran out of funds. I know some slot channels that have run out of funds. I'm guessing that's the reason why they're not producing content anymore. With me, it's not that. That's not the case. With me, it's like, how many times can I go in there and lose $500 and come out? Do I really need to go and start a bigger bankroll? Do I really need to go and start bigger wagers, bigger plays for me to feel that dopamine again? There comes a point in time where you kind of get over it. It's just going to take a long time, right? There's been times in my life where I stayed away from gambling. And I let time heal the wounds, and I was kind of over it until I got back into it. Why did I get back into it in this latest round in 2020, 2021? You know the story, right? I didn't go to a casino in 2020 for like a year. I wasn't even gambling. I was losing weight. I was working out. One day I go to Vegas and boom, I get back into the slots, and that high action just hits me. Ever feel like the feeling where it's like an alcoholic, right? An alcoholic or somebody that loves alcohol. doesn't pick up a cocktail for a long time, and then when he picks up a cocktail, boom, that feeling, it's like, oh man, margaritas, where have you been? I love martinis, by the way. I love a nice dry martini from time to time. I love that drink, man. Alcohol, another thing that is bad for you. But I guess the bottom line is we all go through this nonsense. We all go through this because we're human, man. The brain is just crazy. Our brains are wired so crazy. So I'm debating right now. I'm debating myself, like, hey, what do I do now? Like, I want to feel that excitement, but I'm not really replicating that excitement with other activities outside of the casino. I'm going through that now, ladies and gentlemen. So let's help each other. I wish there was a magic plan or a magic method I can share with you guys that cures the boredom, that cures not having these withdrawals. But there isn't. The only thing I can say is it's time and activities and loved ones and people helping you out. That's one reason why people gamble, because it's out of boredom. Nothing else excites them. That's not the only reason why people gamble. That's one of the reasons. Again, I bring up retirees all the time because, hey, it's their thing, It's your thing. It's your thing, whether you're, part of a bingo club or Rotary Club or something that you do in your golden years with your friends. Gambling is one of them, spending time at casinos, going out for dinner, with your friends, in your golden years. You guys spend time at the casino. How do you break that, though? I gotta take this call. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I'm back. I had to take that call. But, yeah. Everything I say here, the boredom topic with gambling, is true. Why? Because I'm living it. Are you living it? Man, it's hard, right? So let's help each other out. So, last night, I was watching TV, and I was about to go to bed, and it was the first time in a long time, all right? Now, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm not gambling that much, or I haven't gambled in a while. But this is the first time in a long time where I rest my head in the pillow and I started thinking about slot machines. Yes. I started thinking about those hand pays. I started dreaming about those hand pays. Why is that? Why all of a sudden I am thinking and dreaming about hand pays? Why? Is that my brain telling me, hey, come back, we've missed you, where have you been? It was weird, guys. It was weird. So the only thing I can say is we're only human. Do what makes you happy, but do it responsibly. Is there such thing as responsible gambling to a common man that just makes a simple living? Why do I raise that question? Is because the casinos are so tight, the slot machines are so tight. Then taking $500 to a casino is like taking $50 in today's times. We don't want to play minimum spins. Minimum spins is not going to give you hardly anything. It's not going to give you any pays. The bonuses are small. So, in order to raise your bet to $2.50, $5, the money goes quickly. Betting $5 a spin on a slot machine, you put in $100. How fast does it go away? If you don't hit anything, it goes away fast. So $500 to a local casino is the new $50. It's not enough money. Well, okay, I'll take $1,000. But think about what you're saying. $1,000 to the common man, and losing $1,000, that's big money. That is big money. It doesn't last. Okay, you went. Go ahead. You went. You lost $1,000 on a Monday, let's say, right? All right, you had fun. That's it. All right, on to the next week. What are you gonna do next week? You're gonna take another $1,000? Can you even do that? Like, how much money do you make where you can afford to lose $1,000 every visit? $1,000 on Monday, and I'm talking about those guys that go once a week. $1,000 on Monday, $1,000 on the next Monday, and the following Monday. That's $4,000 a month, and that's, given that you haven't won anything. But what ends up happening when we win? When we hit a jackpot, what ends up happening? We lose everything and we leave. We're not satisfied. We still want those excitement hits. We still want to be in that environment. Even when you're up and you're getting ready to leave, yes, you're happy that you won, but there's some sort of sadness that creeps in. What's that sadness? The action is over. You can't play anymore. It's like, I don't get to play anymore. I want to play. I want to still play. And that is what kills me all the time. When I'm up, I don't leave because I want to still be there. I still want to play. I still want to have fun. The fun is over. Okay, I want some money. Great. But the fun is over. We're sad. And that's when we win something, right? Get up and leave. Yeah, we always say this. Get up and leave. But 9 out of 10 times we don't. We still play. We still want to have fun. We end up losing that and everything in our pockets. That's just a common thing that we do because we don't want to be bored. We still want to play. When we go home, we get bored. What am I going to do, Vahagan? I'm going to leave the casino and do what? Go shopping? I don't like shopping. I'm not into whatever, clothes or whatever. Yeah, I don't like clothes. Like, I don't want to go shopping. That doesn't excite me. I don't want to go travel. That doesn't excite me. I get it. I understand. I don't know what to say, really, guys, because I'm going through that right now. And in the comment section below, we got to help each other out. We really do, because as a gambler, we're going to be back. I mean, we always end up going back. We miss the action. We miss the plays, and that's part of the addiction, I guess. Every time I think about my prior walks of shame, every time I think about going home broke, going home losing all my money in my wallet, it stops me from going there. It stops me, and it helps me. But then again, you get these triggers again. You want to go. There is a place for people to go and play and not take a lot of money, but then the money doesn't last. The fun is over. The fun is over. Is that really fun, taking small money and not being able to bet big? I want to bet big. I want to hit big jackpots. So the fun is over. I don't want to leave just yet. I don't want to take small money because it doesn't last. The casinos, please realize this and start awarding gamblers some money, man, because it just prolongs our play. It prolongs our fun. And we get something out of it. We get more and more play out of it. People that go there with a responsible budget, they just want to last. They just want to have fun, win or lose. They don't want to go there and lose the first 5 minutes and get out. That's not fun. Especially for people that travel long distances. That's not fun. It might as well not go. So that's the beef I really have with slots. That's the beef I really have with casinos. It's just that they're so tight. If you can sustain the losses, ladies and gentlemen, if you can sustain it and you don't mind losing, I guess go for it. But I mean, would you rather be bored at home or would you rather lose money? Which one is it? So we have to kind of balance everything. We have to balance, okay, what's good for us? What do we do with boredom? How do we cope with boredom? How do we cope with not being at these establishments? How do we cope with not watching gambling content because it gives you that fix? I know people that watch gambling slot channel videos because it gives them that fix. But does it truly replace you gambling? That's the thing, though. Does it truly replace you gambling? Does watching somebody else lose money or hit that jackpot or press those buttons or be in that environment, doesn't that make you want to go do it? Yeah, it doesn't make me want to gamble, that's why I watch. Really? Is that the real truth? Because as a gambler myself, to a certain extent it helps, but then that doesn't really replace the real action. It doesn't really replace you hitting that button, you going there, you trying it out, you winning those jackpots. To a certain extent it does. I get it. And let me know in the comments if you're one of those guys that refrain from going to the casino and all you need to do is watch a Vegas mat do it and you're good. Or a Storytime Slots do it and you're good with small bets. That's the battle I'm fighting within myself right now, is the boredom. So, yeah, people play because they're bored. Now, in the next video, we're going to talk about the reason number 2 why people go and gamble is to make money and to win because it's not enough. That's another dangerous reason why people go. It's not because they're bored, it's because they have a reason to go. They have a reason. We'll talk about that. And the reason is they need money. They go there because they need money. They're short and they think gambling is going to give them money. We'll talk about all that on the next one. But boredom is a real topic that, like I said, even me, I'm experiencing. So, if I'd done it before, I could do it again. But it's hard. It's hard because last night, like I said, I was looking at the wall and the TV and I just was thinking about slots. I was thinking about playing. Not as strongly as before, but it crept in. It crept in. I'm only human, guys. What can I do? I haven't, but I'm only human. What can I do, guys? It's a battle that I'm fighting within myself right now. So, good luck to all of us. I played the Powerball today, and it's 200, almost 300 million. Cash value is about 140 or less than that. So you're gonna probably get 80 million after taxes. Yeah, can you imagine? Anyhow, let me know. Let's discuss this, because what are some of the things you do that help you with the boredom, that you're not gambling anymore? Does your brain, do you cave? Do you cave because you can't take it anymore? Because you gotta be there, because you have to play. And what do you do when the money runs out? When you have no choice but to not go? Without money, what are you gonna do? You can't go to the casino. So when the money runs out, what do? You have no choice but to not gamble. You're forced to not go to these places. So let me know how you cope with boredom. Let me know what you do to cope with the wanting that action, the wanting to go, the dopamine hits. The lack of that environment is killing you to this extent that you don't know what to do anymore. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Boredom. Are you one of those that gamble because you're bored? Win or lose, it doesn't matter. You're there because you're bored. And how does it affect you? What are you doing to cope with it? What are you doing to deal with it? Is there a problem for you? Are you suffering? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate all of you. You guys rock. See you guys in the next video on Storytime Slots. Bye, guys.